Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today we are covering a Board Now request, Advent Calendar, which...
Thank you, Keith.
Yes, which he brought that up like last year, but we were having trouble finding the movie and we finally found it, but it was after Christmas and we're like, we guess we're waiting until next December.
It was like we recorded all of the December episodes and then a week later or something like that, it found it or whatever.
Yeah.
So... We're sorry. We're sorry it took so long.
Sorry. Before we go into the review, let's grab our cups and talk about tea. So today I am doing a repeat. I'm doing the Republic of Tea Comfort and Joy Tea. It has black tea, cinnamon, natural flavors, cloves, licorice fruit, and apple bits. And Gizmo's over here is going to hold my tea.
Yes. And I am also doing a repeat of Bigelow's Mint Medley Herbal Tea. And it's got peppermint leaves, spearmint leaves, rose hips, lemon peel, and hibiscus. And this is just going to sit right here.
And thank you to the Republic of Tea for allowing us to continue to do what we love. And for our tea sippers out there, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. So for Advent Calendar, it is a French movie. Mm-hmm. And essentially, this friend of the main character has been like residing in Germany. I think it's like on business, I want to say.
I think so.
And she, for her birthday, she brings her...
For the main character's birthday.
Yeah, the main character's birthday. She brings her a wooden, handcrafted Advent calendar. And as they open it, and I will say that it has a message on the back on it. Says, if you dump me, I'll kill you. Or like, yeah, dump me.
If you dump it, I'll kill you.
Yeah. And so it's already a little sinister, but then as they start opening the drawers, well, the very first one, it like talks about the rules. Mm-hmm. And, at first the main character plays it off kind of like a game. But then, like, as they go on, she's like, well, are these candies drugged? But then it gets to be a point where it's like, oh, no, this is actually a thing. So it's like certain people are dying. There's, like, love potion type of stuff going on. It
demands sacrifices.
Yes.
Much like chat.
Yes. Thank you, chat. But, yeah. So... that's the summary. It just, stuff happens. So for entertainment, this movie went very far beyond my expectations. Oh, yeah. Like, this is a movie I'm going to watch again, for
Definitely.
sure. I'm dancing between a 7.5 and a 7.75. I think a 7.5, I'm going to go with the 7.5. But, like, a very solid movie. And I think the fact that they make the main character a paraplegic really adds an additional layer where... because eventually she gets to a point where she can walk. Mm-hmm. And it's like she can either skip the last candy on the last day and be able to keep everything, like all of the money she made from the investing. She can continue to walk, all of that. But then she's also lost her best friend, her father,
her boyfriend,
her
dog,
her bad boss, and her terrible coworker.
Some of those aren't a big loss.
But... yeah, I was like, those are
and
okay.
The stepmother.
Oh, yes, and the stepmother.
Bitch.
Yeah. So it's like there really are like decent stakes, and I like the fact that it doesn't really tell you what happened at the end. It kind of leaves a mystery, which, I mean, the curious part of me is like, why couldn't you have given an ending? Because I wanted to see what you picked, but I feel like it's a good way to like open discussion on like what justifies those deaths being permanent versus like starting all over if she ate the candy. But yeah, it's like the characters in this movie are very strong. We forgot about the asshole
Boris.
Yeah, Boris. And it has some pretty realistic scenes that are very uncomfortable, especially the scene with Boris, where it's almost satisfying to watch him die, because you're like, what?
Almost.
Okay, it is satisfying to watch him die.
It's extremely satisfying.
Because,
wish it was gorier.
Yeah, I guess we should also say there's a trigger warning for sexual assault because of Boris. And, yeah.
On multiple counts.
Multiple?
Yeah. He was assaulting her while she was asleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then he tried to push it further.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, I like that this movie, because they set it up to almost be like a Blumhouse movie, where it's like, this could potentially be a very terrible movie. But the way that they did it, it's like the perfect balance between like satisfactory like revenge and also like good stuff happening to the character. And so you get that kind of like back and forth of like, is this thing really that bad?
Yeah.
So I really like that they play upon it to where it's like, it's obviously an evil object, but it's not 100% all evil.
I feel like it's a chaotic object.
Yeah.
Like chaotic neutral almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are some good things, some bad things.
Yeah. So yeah, just like, it's a very interesting, really well done movie. I definitely recommend a watch. It is going to be a new Christmas classic.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So I'm honestly surprised. I mean, I feel like adaptations are always kind of hit or miss, but I'm honestly surprised there hasn't been an adaptation of this movie.
I wouldn't mind for this movie with the lore and everything. I would actually kind of want a sequel. I would want more on this line.
Like the origins of
the origins, like with the painter, the blind painter.
Yes.
Or the dude that came after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just random people. They don't even necessarily have to be connected to that one. Just somewhere further down the line. I want more.
Yeah, it is a really interesting. It's like, I would love to see how it came about, and I do like the fact that you could see the aftermath of the painter. Yeah, just very interesting. It kept me sucked in for sure. So, but that's what I got for entertainment.
Yes. So I give it a 7.25. It would be higher, but she killed the dog. Horribly.
Yeah, that poor dog.
Yeah. Doggy didn't deserve that. Marvin didn't deserve that. No. Not cool. Sacrifice people. Fine. Not the dog. That's not okay. Shame on you. Otherwise, very interesting movie. I really wanted more of the lore of the thing, the monster, the demon, whatever. Spirit, whatever it was. I wanted more of that. I wanted more lore behind it. I wanted to know its origins. I wanted her to do some research on it. We didn't get that.
I feel like they did a very good balance between like focusing on the storyline of the character and the lore, because it's like
They did. I wanted more. This
yeah.
movie makes you want more.
Yeah.
Which is kind of rare. Mm-hmm. We haven't found many like that.
No.
Either they go too hard in it and we start picking it apart because they don't do it right, or they don't give you anything at all, and it's just the opposite way, and we're like, okay, what are the rules?
Yeah. Well, this one, it does have clear rules, but...
Somewhat. I do have some questions. They were a little subjective with some things, and a little vague. But on the whole, everything was fairly clear, and it was a very interesting, enjoyable movie. So, well done, and we really, really appreciate this recommendation. I'm sorry it took so long for us to find it.
Yes.
It was worth it, though. So if you guys are having trouble finding it, I promise it's worth it once you do find it.
Keith, I think, mentioned it was on Shudder.
Yeah, but we didn't have Shudder at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a Shudder original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it said at the beginning when it played.
Oh.
Pay attention. But it is really good. They did a really good job with it. The effects were also pretty decent. So, yeah. The version that I saw didn't have full subtitles, like for the German part, so I had to look some of the stuff up. But otherwise, it was no biggie.
Yeah.
Which I'm willing to do for certain things like that, because it allowed me to get a little bit more out of the movie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yes. Very good movie.
Doggy didn't have to die, though. That's not cool. It's not okay.
So, for realism's a toughie.
Yes.
Because
That's the part that I had the hardest time with.
Like, it's literally its own, like, lore, its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, with how the people die, the likelihood of it, I feel like the realism's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
The chance, I know it's based off of the advent calendar, but the mere chance that her boyfriend ends up being a nurse or a doctor,
Nurse
in the medical field.
He was a nurse.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with a 2, I think. Because I feel like the character reactions were pretty realistic. Like, where it's like they hit a moment of like disbelief and then trying to find explanations, but the explanations are completely logical. Like, they went through of like, oh, maybe the candies are drugged, which, I mean, like, especially the one where she lost like 4 days of her life or whatever, is like, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But then, like, as it continues, it's like, yeah, there's definitely something. Which I didn't mention in the entertainment scale, but I will say the pacing of this movie is really good too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a slow burn, but then once it starts to get going, it gets...
Well, even during the slow-ish part of the beginning, there's enough happening that you don't feel like it's too slow.
Yes, yeah. It's like you want to keep learning more about the calendar, so it kind of like keeps you sucked in. And plus, they reveal more and more about her life and stuff, and it's kind of interesting. Like, especially, like, they kind of, like, throw things here and there, like she's taking pills to help control hallucinations and things. So they do, like, little things to reveal, like, what she's going through, and it almost kind of exacerbates, like, what's going on with the calendar. It's like if and at one point, her friend even mentions, like, are you taking, like, your pills? And are you sure this isn't a hallucination? Like, whenever her dad called, it's just very, very well done. It's like they went through all of the logical steps first before they're like, oh, got nothing.
No, this is some weird shit.
Yeah.
Weird shit's happening.
But yeah, that's all I got for realism. Nothing specific.
I feel like a 2 is solid.
Yay.
Yeah, I agree. I wish that they played a little bit more on, like, a little bit less of the spirit or demon or whatever, and showing him actually doing the killing for a lot of it, and made it more plausible, like almost accident kind of things, like weird coincidence.
Yeah, like kind of played it up to like it being a coincidence rather than the advent calendar.
Yes.
Yeah, because I forgot what
like
scene
they
it
said
was.
Boris, the a-hole dude, got hit or was in a wreck. That's what they said. Now we know that the dog destroyed the car, the toy car, and all of the supernatural stuff was happening, so it was linked to him in the car. So when it was destroyed, so was he.
Yeah.
But for, like, the boyfriend, since he dumped it in the river, the thing grabbed him and drowned him. But he could have also been in a vehicular accident.
It seemed like the way that you tried to destroy it was how you died, because the stepmom also tried to throw it in the fire, and it's like, well, I'm going to burn you.
Yeah, but then he could also have just slipped in the bathtub. Or went to pick her up at the pool and died somehow in a really freak accident at the pool.
Yeah.
There are other ways that it could have happened, and it was appearing randomly and calling others to it, and also somehow manipulated the dog into killing someone.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
That was a little stretch there. So, I mean, it was weird, and they could have played a little bit more with, are these weird coincidences, or is it because I'm dealing with this advent calendar? Also, they weren't very clear on the candies themselves. Like, the rule said you have to eat every candy. It specifically says you have to eat every candy.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
So she gave the heart one to the dude,
yeah.
and they started dating. Her friend took the blue pill. And gave it to her boy toy, which was against the rules a little bit, and which is why the thing came and killed them. But, like, it says in the rules, if you eat one candy, you have to eat them all.
Yeah.
If you don't, I will kill you.
It seemed to be based off of what was also... It's like that as the base rule, but then per day, depending on what the candy is impacting, it's like flexible.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not a rule then if it's flexible. Pick one.
Just have to, like, all the candies have to be eaten by someone.
And they don't necessarily have to be eaten in order, apparently.
Yeah.
Because she would eat some of them that day and hold on to others until a further day out, and then eat it after she's already had, like, 4 or 5 others. So, do you not have to eat them in order, I guess?
Yeah.
But if you don't eat it that day, and you eat a different one, like, you're technically not eating the candy, like it says in rule number 1. So why didn't it try to attack her? Eat the damn candy. So it just... I know it was for the plot, but it really does feel like Movie's Got a Movie, and the rules seemed more flexible than they should have been.
Yeah, I agree.
I also want to know what this thing was. Again, I wanted more lore.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kind of made him seem like a person, almost like a soldier. Because in the picture that popped up, he had medals pinned to his chest. And then he had a mask. Yeah. But his face was all kinds of effed.
Yeah.
So I want to know what it was exactly. And what the actual story is behind him.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to research it myself. I'm sorry. I have a 7-month-old. She's very squirmy. Very pinchy. She's very pinchy right now. But I didn't have time. Sleep is important. So, it's just little things like that that just didn't make sense. And one of the things that I didn't find very accurate was the boyfriend's reaction. And his reaction to dumping it. It didn't make sense. What normal person... Okay, you see the door open. Okay, fine. Yes, close it, lock it, put the keys in the cup again, go back to the car. If you look up and it's open again after you know for an absolute fact that you just locked that door, why would you go in there? No. Then he goes in and the phone rings and he hears a really creepy voice. And then he looks at the calendar and there's scratches suddenly that say backwards, but it says don't dump it. And then he goes and dumps it. That doesn't make sense. No. I know he's probably feeling betrayed and confused and all when he sees his name there and realizes that the way he's feeling might be because of the candy or whatever. His feelings might not be his own, or his actions might not be his own, or whatever. But his gut reaction is to grab the thing and try to get rid of it. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Especially without talking to her first.
Yeah.
So, it just... No. No. And nobody's investigating all of these deaths. Her boss was killed by a dog. No one's trying to figure out where the dog went or how it got in, where it came from, nothing. Other people are killed around her and nobody questions her at all. The boy toy's car was taken by her after they were killed brutally. And they don't trace the car. They don't try to find it. They don't ask her, hey, did you see anything? Nothing. Because I feel like there would be wheelchair tracks in the mud and outside the house and all and nearby. I know she was able to walk right after they were killed. So her chair was likely still there because she got up after eating the candy and took the car. So they weren't wondering where she went because her bag and wheelchair had her address. Because the other dude came to give it to her from the pool. So where are the police in all this is what I'm essentially asking.
Yeah.
This is a month.
And she wasn't even concerned about the police.
Yeah, nah. I mean, a couple of the deaths, especially in the beginning, yeah, those could have been coincidences.
Yeah.
But no. No. Not her best friend. Nah. Also, did her friend, when they were going through her backstory of how she became a paraplegic, were they stopped in the middle of the road?
I didn't fully catch up, like, why.
Because they were hit when they were in the car.
Yeah.
But they didn't really tell us if it was like a drunk driver on the wrong side of the road, or if they were sitting at a light and they got hit, or...
Yeah, they didn't really explain it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in your car and you're in the middle of the road, yeah, don't take a freaking selfie. But if they were parked and someone hit them going the wrong way or something, that would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
But then what would the friend do? She was like, watch out.
Yeah.
It was almost like the car was in gear and they were driving or something. It was a little weird, and I wanted a little bit of clarification there. Also, I want to ask everyone, since I am now done with the realism scale, what do you all think she did at the end? Do you think she ate the final candy? Or did she not and keep her ability to walk?
Yeah, because me and Jess were talking about that, and I see it happening either way, but if I had to choose, especially since she is so close to her father, I feel like she would have, like, eaten the last candy and reversed everything. But it's like at the same time, she didn't seem to be too broken up about her best friend and father being dead. She seemed pretty happy being able to dance again, and I don't know. It's
I feel like
tough.
the death she was most broken up about was the dog, which I can't really blame her for.
Yeah. Yeah, and the boyfriend she wasn't too broken up, but of course she only
They
knew
weren't
him for like
dating
a
for
couple
very long.
days.
It was like a couple weeks maybe. So they weren't together long. So she hadn't grown super attached to him yet.
I guess his death was kind of his own fault.
A little bit, yeah.
'Cause he
She
tried
tried to
to-
warn him not to. So, I also want to know how she was teleported from the pool to the river.
And it's like, what was the purpose of that? Just
Yeah.
so that way she would know that he died?
I guess. And then it teleported her and the advent calendar back to her house.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think she did? Do you think she ate it or didn't?
I honestly don't know. It really could go either way, but I'm leaning towards she didn't eat the candy. Her father wasn't all there.
Yeah.
He
and
had
he even said at
Alzheimer's.
one point.
He couldn't remember her most of the time.
Yeah. And I know whenever he did, like, remember her and was talking to her, he even said at one point, like, if it takes me, like, let it take me.
Mm-hmm. He said, don't hesitate.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he was going to be there much longer. She was already kind of resigned to the fact that he was almost gone.
Yeah. And to be fair, the stepmom did kind of deserve to
She
die.
was no loss.
She's a terrible person.
Yeah, horrible. And they had a horrible relationship anyway.
And who needs Boris?
Yeah, nobody. At all. The boss was also a real tool. Horrible person.
Well, it's like she's explaining to him why her numbers might, like, be different, and
They weren't different. She said she worked just the same.
yeah.
They just weren't increasing.
Yeah.
Which, if you're selling something, is not necessarily your fault. All you can do is inform people and ask. If they say no, what are you going to do?
Yeah. But it's hard being a salesperson.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Tough.
But he was just ass. And kept referring to her disability as the cause, which, no.
Yeah.
That has no bearing on it.
Or like the new coworker that was like talking about her disability. I was like,
Oh, she was a bee.
yeah. I was like, why would you bring that up?
So rude. So rude.
It's
And
like, yeah.
I don't know if you got this feeling. I got the sense that she was sleeping with the boss.
Oh, I didn't really think about that, but I could 100% see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the sense that I got. But that's just me. And I could be wrong. But it gave me that vibe. For sure.
Yeah.
So, she might not have deserved the death that she got, because that was kind of brutal. but not a huge loss there. I don't know. I feel kind of like a horrible person saying that. The boyfriend, it sucks. But again, she didn't know him that long, and she did try to warn him not to.
Yeah.
I feel like the friend wasn't as good of a friend as she thought she was. A lot of it seemed to be about her, not so much her friend.
Yeah.
So she seemed a little narcissistic, just a little bit. And I know she kept saying over and over, I don't blame her, but I feel like a part of her did.
Yeah. Because it's like if you have to tell yourself, I don't blame her, then that means that there's a part of you that does, I feel like.
Most likely. It's not always the case, but most likely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like saying like I don't fear this thing, like repeating to yourself, I don't fear this thing.
Just trying to convince yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's why I felt like
Yeah.
it was like.
I think she was trying to convince herself as much as the thing. Yeah. And the boy toy, she didn't really know him. So. But the dog didn't deserve that. The dog didn't deserve that. But there were some deaths that, like the stepmom, she said that was for fun.
Yeah. When she said that, I was like, oh, badass. Like
Which, I get it. But at the same time, going a little dark side, aren't you?
Yeah. It's cold.
Yeah. So by the end, she was almost enjoying it. She didn't appreciate having to kill her dog or her dad.
But everyone else.
She had, at the same time, kind of resigned herself to her father's death anyway.
Yeah.
Be it natural or by her hand.
So really the biggest loss is the dog.
Yes. Yes. Which was not okay. So, I get the feeling that she likely wouldn't have eaten the candy because she had already resigned herself for the other deaths and everything.
You mean she did eat the candy?
No, if she ate the candy, then she would have forgotten everything.
Then yeah, that's right. I mixed it up. Yeah. For clarification, if you do eat the candy, it goes back and everything's reversed. If you don't,
you wake up on December 1st and none of it ever happened. You don't remember what happened either.
Yep. Well, if you don't, then you wake up the next day and everything sticks.
Mm-hmm. Everything's the same. What's weird, though, is if you do eat the candy, whatever you've put in the advent calendar stays there. Which didn't make that much sense. That was kind of weird. I mean, I guess the thing is magic anyway, but... like, the painter left a painting depicting, like, as a warning to the next person what happens. But she left a video explaining some things and her dancing after saying, I'm a paraplegic and this thing gave me back my legs, basically. So, either way, I think it stays in the calendar, whether you eat the candy or you don't. But that's just kind of a weird mechanic. I don't know. And, I don't know, there is an argument for her eating the candy, because if she didn't eat the candy, she got a whole bunch of money from investing. And she could have moved to a nicer place. But we don't know. We didn't hear a dog bark or anything when the people got let into the house. So we can't tell. We don't know for sure. That kind of ambiguous ending made me a little mad, not gonna lie. I want to know. But what do you guys think?
Yes. So went on a little bit of a tangent.
Sorry.
So thank you for joining us today, and let us know what you thought of the movie.
I want a discussion.
Thank you again, Keith, for the recommendation. And yeah, we would love to continue the discussion, but in the comments.
Yes. Yes.
And in our Discord server. But if you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment, or you can join our Discord server. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our content, you can find our link tree listed below.
If you'd like to support us monetarily, we have our Teespring and our PayPal, or we have our affiliate link with Republic of Tea available. It does not affect the price of the tea, it just allows us to continue to do what we love. And you can find all of the sites mentioned linked below. But until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye!